right, how's everybody doing? First night at MegaCon. Thank you for showing us some love.
MegaCon! MegaCon! Come on, MegaCon! People walking by, come sit down. We're at MegaCon. Come on.
First things first, does anybody want to interview this jackass while I go and watch the Back to the Future panel? Any takers? Okay, I guess I'll do it. All right, guys. Well, we're not here for me, but if you don't recognize me, I am Cody Leach. I have a channel on YouTube, but we're not here for me. You can find me in a panel where we're talking about all the YouTube stuff later on this weekend. Tonight, we're here to talk about this man right here. You might recognize him from Netflix's The Circle Season 1, Perfect Match. But we are here to talk about the sides of Joey Sasso that you do not know. The horror fan, the movie fanatic, the upcoming filmmaker. You got a movie coming out this year. So give a round of applause for the man of the hour, Joey Sasso.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. It's actually really exciting because I got to tell you the truth. It's really dope to meet. I was just talking to you girls and I was telling you my favorite thing about doing anything reality-based has been meeting people. But if there is something that has not gotten communicated through the screen, is that I am one of yous. I've been doing conventions my whole life. I've been the fan, and I've never had the opportunity to talk to people and tell them about the things that I'm into. Just a few months ago, I was at the Halloween convention in Pasadena, California. Die-hard Halloween fan. It's the best horror franchise. I see you out there, yes, 100%.
Second best.
The amount of people that came up to me being like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, what do you mean, dude? I'm right here with you. I'm trying to meet James Jude Courtney and do all this stuff. So to be at this point in my career where I can come here and I can show you that I love film, I'm here for all the right reasons, and I'm with the best YouTuber in the business. Come on, give some love for Cody Leach. You guys know you love Cody Leach.
Thank you so much. To piggyback off of that really quick, so tangent, I don't really watch reality TV, but my wife does. And one of the only seasons that I suffered through the first 3 episodes, like editing and pretending not to watch, was Circle Season 1. And after a while, I was like, I kind of like that Joey guy. I feel like I would be friends with him. And then he ends up winning, and I'm like, see, I picked the winner. And then fast forward maybe a year and a half, and I get Joey in my DMs on Instagram, and I'm like, who is this guy pretending to be that dude from The Circle, acting like he watches my channel and shit? And so, craziest thing ever, that the only reality show that I watch is a fellow movie fan that was watching my channel. So we've been friends for a little over a year and a half. The movie that we're going to be telling you about, I've already seen it, so it's going to be exciting to talk about all that. But let's go back to kind of the beginning.
Cool.
So, much like me, you grew up, had a childhood where movies very quickly kind of became your obsession, your escape, your life. Was there a family member, a friend, or like one specific movie experience that just kicked that off for you?
I will always remember vividly being 3 years old and watching A Nightmare on Elm Street because I had the best parents in the world who let me watch anything I wanted. And I saw Freddy Krueger coming down the stairs on fire, and I have a vivid memory of talking to my mother and being like, this is what I want to do. And very quickly, I started idolizing John Carpenter, Wes Craven, George Romero. I wanted to be a filmmaker more than anything, and it was my everything, my passion, the family camcorder. We all had that growing up where we made our movies, and it wasn't a hobby. It wasn't, this is fun on the weekend with my cousins. This was life. We were making films. And throughout my entire life, man, I have never known what it's like to not know what I want to do. I've been the guy all friends come to of, I think I want to do this, I think that, I don't know what my passion is. I've never known that. I've always known that it's film, it's entertainment in any capacity. So it was directing my entire childhood. By the time I turned, I said 13 or 14, I really got the acting bug. And I was like, I had been studying already screenwriting, directing. At a certain point, I wanted to go to Tom Savini's special makeup effects school and learn everything because all of his effects in Dawn of the Dead and Friday the 13th. So then it became, I'm going to be an actor, but I want to make my own films like a Kevin Smith, like all of these people who have shown you can be from New Jersey, from Rochester, New York, and you can go make a career not being born into the business with an aunt, an uncle, a father, a brother to open those doors for you. So 18 years old, I'm graduating high school. I have zero plans of going to college. I went to the biggest Catholic private school in Rochester, New York, that had a 99% rate that went on to college. I will never forget being laughed at in high school. Yeah, being laughed at. People being like, yeah, okay, you're going to move to LA. Well, you're going to be Tom Cruise. Well, you think you're going to be this, think you're going to be that. When my principal was going to expel me because I was not a very good student, he said, throughout the years, I've met students who said they were going to be wrestlers, they were going to be actors, they were going to be this, they were going to be that. I've asked each of them to give me their signature because I want to say I got your first autograph. And there has never been one student who has come back and said, you were actually the first. He said, I hope you would be the first. And he showed me a shoebox full of, I want to say, 200 or 300 signatures. One of the proudest moments of my life was going back to my principal, who almost expelled me, and saying, Mr. Sadler, I want to see that autograph. You were the first. So it's moments like that to where I think you could have hardships in your life. You could have things. But I truly believe in having a dream and a goal and working to obtain it is 100% in your reach, especially when all the odds are against you, man. I moved to LA at 18 years old. I didn't know one person. I was lucky enough to have a mother and a father who said, this is all you've ever been meant to do. You need to go do this because if you stay here, you will not be happy and you will not do anything good with your life. There was not one person to open a door. It was sitting in a studio apartment, crying my eyes out at 18 years old, going, fuck. My entire life, I wanted to follow my dream. Now I'm here. What do I do? Where do you begin? Because there is no course on, okay, go to LA, start auditioning, do this, do that. No, it's like, shit. All right, it's go time, man. So it's been a journey to get to where I'm at today. And that's what I told my girl on the way here today. To be here, up on a stage in a professional manner with a friend who you've become like family, but I started as a fan and now I'm here talking to you professionally. Like, dude, this is one of the coolest moments of my life. Thank you all so much for being here. For real, this means so much to me. Thank you.
So talking about when you first moved to LA and having to pound the pavement, like what's some words of advice or what are some methods that you went through that failed and some methods that you went through that succeeded that you would give to up-and-coming actors, filmmakers that, like, what was your path to getting to where you are?
You need to be able to do every single thing that you can. Back in the day, you were an actor, you need to be a great actor. No, you need to be able to promote yourself. You need to be able to write, direct, edit, every single thing that you can do because you have to remember that there are going to be a million people standing in line waiting for that opportunity. And unfortunately, one of the hardest things for me was to realize that this business is just not fair. It's just not. It's not about you're the most talented. It's not about you've worked the hardest. Sometimes it's about you hooked up with the right person. You went out to the right place to have drinks with people and you were liked. It's a million different things. And I think for me, the hardest thing was just seeing the rejection because that's what's crazy about when you have success, right? You have people who tell you, I love you for your personality. I love you for all of these things with you, where I heard for years, well, your nose is too big. You're Italian. You got too big of a nose. The way you talk, you can't talk like that. I mean, you're going to hear every single thing you can that's going to point you in the wrong direction. But from day one of getting to LA, I linked up with my partner, Josh, my writing partner, and I told him, no one is ever going to give us shit. We idolize Scorsese, right? All these directors that we want to emulate in any way that we can. We need to make sure we are crafting our own projects because to this day, even as an actor, I look at my filmography as a director, which was what's going to be my first movie? What's going to be my Mean Streets? What's going to be my Clerks? I've been working on the film that I'm here to talk about tonight since I was 17 years old. I just turned 30 years old back in December, and the movie is finally coming out in 2024. It has taken that long to get here, but to me, it's just being realistic about if you are hungry enough and you want it bad enough and you do things the right way, it could take a lot of time, but it will happen, and your dreams will come true.
On the subject of being hungry and hitting all these speed bumps and how long it takes to get where you want to go, you're not known for being an upcoming filmmaker, at least not yet.
Yep.
You're known as Joey Sasso from Netflix. No,
Yep.
Joey Sasso, the winner of The Circle Season 1. Where did that come from? I know it was unexpected for you. So, like, what was the path to getting there? Has it helped you get to where you want to be, or has it kind of been a bit of a distraction? Has it all kind of worked against each other?
Man, I would never predict in a million years that my life has gone the way that it has, because you so clearly think my life is going to go this way. I really thought I'm going to be making independent films like Larry Clark, and people are going to dig it if they dig it, but it's not going to be commercial, and my family won't like the stuff that I do. And I had people tell me for years, you need to audition for reality television. And I would say, are you out of your fucking mind? No, I'm not doing. And acting teachers would tell you, don't do that, because you're an actor and that will stop you from being an actor. Now, from what we know today, you want to do everything that you can. So this was still at a time in the industry where if you're an actor, you only act. So what happened is this. My film's called Young Lion of the West. I got to a point in my life, I was in a miserable relationship. I was hiding a drug addiction and alcohol addiction, and I was severely suicidal. And I was like, I need to make this movie. If I don't make this movie, we're not going to ever do it. And I don't know if I can ever recover from that after all of the years of, you're in class studying with every top teacher in Los Angeles for 6-7 days a week. You're working 6-7 days a week. You still can't pay rent. You're calling mom and dad asking for help. You're rewriting the script again because coverage from the company came back and said it's not good enough. You drive yourself crazy, and at a certain point, I don't care if it's terrible. I need to know I did this for me. I called up my partner, Josh, and I said, let's just go fucking do it. And we did. That's a whole other story, but we did. I get back to Los Angeles, and at the time, I worked at the oldest gay bar in LA called Oil Can Harry's. Legendary place. Best survival job I've ever had. And my friend Raphael Dorval comes up to me and he goes, I'm casting this new thing. I want you to come in. I go, okay, what is it? He goes, it's a new reality show for Netflix. And I go, I don't do reality. Like, I'm severely depressed. My girlfriend at the time who I was with left me. So I'd come home from dedicating everything in my life to this production to saying I'll deal with that whenever I come home. I came home to an empty house, empty apartment. Now it was real. It was my life. I didn't know what to do. So I got the movie in the bag. That's all that mattered to me. I was at a point of, I got nothing to lose, man. I really got nothing to lose. So I called my parents, and they said, if you don't go to that fucking audition, we're going to beat your ass. Like, they said it just like that. And I go, okay, how many auditions have I gone on where I don't hear anything? I've read for legitimate big projects. I'm telling you some today that I'm like, I can't watch the movie. It cuts too deep. And I had never walked into a room and just was able to be myself. Because when you go in as an actor, there's unspoken, they don't want to know you. They don't care. Joey, hi, no. You're one of 50 people who look like you. Come in, slate, hi, I'm Joey. I'm reading for the role of Cody Leach. Action. Do a take, you're out the door. That's it. This was me sitting down, being asked questions like you're doing right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I just be me? Okay, all right. And I thought
the role I was born for.
Yeah, I never experienced this because you're trained to be a professional, to walk into rooms and be off book and have your dialogue down and play to the camera and know how to be certain etiquette with casting directors. I left. I didn't think anything of it. And then all of a sudden, my friend calls me and says, Netflix is in love with you. They want you for this. And I tried talking out of it. I was like, I got my sister's wedding. He's like, do they know that you can win $100,000? This could change your life. I'm like, dude, that's not going to fucking happen. Like, come on. Like, Netflix literally flew me to the UK to film, like, the intro when you guys watch, hey, I'm Joey, this and that. We filmed that. They flew me to New Jersey for my sister's wedding that same weekend and then flew me back. Like, they really wanted me to do this show. The only reason I was really open was because I had my movie in the bag. And I said, I already said this was the most important task to me in my life. I pulled it off. I did it. We have it shot. The worst that happens is I get some good promo out of going on a show. And this was before Netflix did reality, guys. Like this, they were like House of Cards. Like they were doing real serious stuff at this point. I go over, I do the show. No expectations. I win the fucking show. I never expected that. I was like, just don't let me get sent home first. Even still, imagine doing a show. I don't know if you guys have seen The Circle or not. You're locked alone in a room talking to a TV screen. I don't
Kinda
watch.
like being a YouTuber.
Yeah, but think about it, bro. If you watch reality TV, you think of people hooking up. You think of all these things. Mm-hmm. I was sitting there even with the cast afterwards, and I'm like, oh, man, we just made the biggest flop of all time. This is going to be bad. Like, we're just talking to a TV screen. The show comes out, and it is overnight success. Like, it was huge, and it kept going and going. I'm sitting there, and Post Malone's in my DMs. I'm like,
oh, God.
I'm like, bro,
don't tell my wife that, man. She's going to be like,
you don't expect it. Like, to do a show where you're in an apartment, and to tell you the truth, in retrospect, the thing that's so special about that show is none of us knew what we were doing. So you can like us, you can not like us. There was no blueprint. This had not been done before. We knew it was based on a show that was in the UK that did not make any sense to any of us. So I can still look at that show and know I don't even know what I'm doing till episode 6 or 7. I was winging it. If you look at the beginning, I'm just shit-talking people because all that made sense to me was some people are real, some people are fake. Let's find the fake motherfuckers, get them out of here. And then they're like, no, it's about friendship. It's about all these things. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So it was a completely unexpected experience that had I not made this movie, I really think I would have talked myself out of going on the show. That changed my life. And to back up what you said before, I'm not here today without doing that. I swear to you, I did not want to do this show. I was so adamantly against it. And it opened the door to me to everything. And I'll give you a quick example. It's not a name-droppy thing. It's just something to me that meant a lot. I was on the press tour for The Circle, and I'm taking a red-eye from LA to New York. We land in the morning, and the lady comes up to me across the road, and she goes, "Are you Joey Sasso?" I go, "Yes." She goes, "My boss is obsessed with you, and I snuck a picture of you on takeoff." And she said, "If that's Joey, get his number and get his contact information by all accounts." I go, "Okay, who?" And you're waking up, you don't know what's happening. "Who's your boss?" "Amy Poehler." I'm like, oh, all right. And then I'm like, okay, I'm never going to hear from Amy Poehler. That's never going to happen. I'm at baggage claim, and she's texting me, being like, "I would love to meet you. I really loved your show." And then we're going to dinner, and she's telling me, it's so clear you're an actor, because I'd be lying if I told you I watched every episode of this show. All the girls in my office were telling me, "You need to watch this guy, Joey," and I fast-forwarded through your scenes while researching you. And she's like, "It's so clear you've studied improv, that you know how to play for the camera, how to do these things." So to sit there with someone you respect and admire, who is a titan in this industry, Amy Poehler is Amy fucking Poehler. And she's saying, "Hey, dude, I see you. I recognize you. You did great. Keep doing it because it's working." That, to me, is the things that you could never expect that this opportunity could have led to.
And moments like that, especially from somebody that you're a fan of, can like completely rejuvenate your motivation, your confidence in yourself, everything like that. I can only imagine what that did for you. So getting away from the reality TV, kind of backing up back to what we were talking about earlier. So you've got The Circle in the bag, you've got some other things on Netflix in the works, you've got the movie sitting there. What drove you to tell that story? Like, give us a bit of an intro to what Young Lion of the West is about, where the idea came from. You said from you're 17 years old, and you're 30 now. So
yeah.
It's a story that's obviously you're very passionate about. What part of you was that story? What part of Rochester, New York is that story? Like, where did it all come from?
It's weird, man, because it's like how you can listen to a song, and it's like a time capsule in your life. When I watch my movie, it's like that. I grew up in Rochester, New York, where it's blue collar. You go to work every day. You don't make movies. You don't do things. And people want to be big shots. They want to be the local legend. They want to be all these things. And then you fuse that through being an Italian American, growing up in the family that I grew up in, seeing the things that I had seen. I feel so blessed to have grown up around so many different classes of people, because as a person who's always been very creative and loves writing, I feel like my entire life gave me all the material I need when it comes to character. And I remember being in high school and just seeing how many of my friends became heroin addicts, became junkies, and fell into a cycle. And that also ended up happening to me later in life, and I kept that secret. And you meld that with being a lover of Martin Scorsese and Mean Streets and wanting to make something gritty, because I think you look at anyone's first movie is them clearly trying to make something that they love their entire life, an homage, a filmmaker that means a lot to them. And I look at it now and I'm like, oh my God, I'm just trying to make fucking Mean Streets. Like, I'm just trying to homage Scorsese. I'm trying to do some things that I'm really passionate about with cinema, but I'm also trying to say a lot about where I come from. And unfortunately, because that is hard R and that is gritty and raw, it has taken us 5 years to get this movie released because people seen me and they say, you're Joey, we love you, you're likable, you're all these things. This is a hard R movie. You're not playing a likable guy or all of these things. And I'm like, that's the fucking point. You're an actor. That's what you do. So there has been a lot of pushback on getting this film released when it should have been released. And as they say, you have to play the game. I've had to play the game, but through that, we're finally at a place where this movie is coming out and it still does not feel real to me.
Yeah, he sent me a screener to this film about a year and a half ago, and it was about 2 or 3 weeks where it was a busy season for me. So he's like, what'd you think of it? I'm like, oh, I'm going to get to it, dude, I promise. And he's very excited. Then it's like 1 in the morning. I have nothing to do, and I'm like, you know what? This is the perfect time. I pop on the movie. Swear to God, I don't even think I made it 15 seconds. Opening scene, Joey Sasso flexing in the mirror, butt-ass naked.
Butt naked.
First thing I do, turn around, make sure that his ass is in the shot, and I FaceTime him, and I'm like, bruh. And it's a hard R movie, for sure. So Mean Street, stuff like that, it's along those lines. Like, if you want to give a quick plot synopsis of the story of this character, what would you say? I
play Nick Donato, a local club promoter who's hooked up with a criminal underground boss whose biggest fear in life is becoming his alcoholic father. It's that simple. I didn't want to make a very plot-driven film. I've always subscribed to character versus story. I think character dictates story, where I think a lot of times we see films where story dictates character, and that just doesn't vibe for me. So many of the drafts were about who is this guy, what do we want to say, and the fact that it's not me playing some big, out there, showy type of role, it was something that felt so important to me because we don't see movies like this get made anymore. And I told Cody, same thing I'll tell all of you. I hate the sensitive artist who's like, love me, love my shit. I used to think that was going to be me until I made this film. The self-accomplishment you feel. I don't care if you hate it. I don't care. Like, let's talk about it. It is so fun. I have had every type of screening of this film. And the thing that has been so fun for me is no one ever says the same things. Someone takes something different from it, and that to me is a real testament. And another thing that my partners and I talked about, I never expected the film to be viewed as it is, because if you do know who I am from reality television, let's be honest, you're going into this going, oh no, how bad is this going to be? How bad? Because every person who hits on a reality show, I'm an actor, I'm a singer, I'm a this, I'm a that. No, you want money and fame. You're none of these things. Most people don't realize I have been doing this for well over a decade. I've been studying, and making this film was to say I can carry a film. I can do what I love to do, and I could see the flaws because the movie is flawed. It's a low-budget indie. I will say this. I was told don't talk specifics. Fuck that. We're talking specifics. I had this film line produced. Line produced is when you get a producer to go through line by line and give you a budget of the film. This film was budgeted at $3 to $5 million on the lowest end possible. Now, I'm from Rochester. I wanted to shoot on film. That was never going to happen. So even digital, $3 to $5 million. We cut nothing from the script. Things that you read and you go, gone. Jail cell, gone. Shootout, gone. Cops, gone. I knew I had one opportunity to call every favor I could, and the whole town of Rochester, there is a goof in the movie, I will just say now, that I think is hilarious, and I left it in on purpose. My character goes to jail. We could not believe we got the legit downtown jail. They gave us an entire tier. Like, if this was a real production, that's a 6-figure day. We left my earrings in because we were so excited that we're in a jail that we forgot that I'm supposed to have been locked up, and he clearly would not have earrings in right now. And we had meetings with our producers where they're like, we can have that cut out in post. I don't want to do that. No. The part of filmmaking that I love is its flaws. Like I was telling you the other night, we love Halloween, right? Everyone loves Halloween. Don't you guys love when John Carpenter's cigarette smoke drifts in the frame during the hedge scene? Or you look and you see the cables on the desk in the opening tracking shot? Like, filmmaking is not supposed to be AI produced, perfect. It's about the flaws. It's about those things. So that's one of those things where I already know people are going to be like, what? You shouldn't have earrings in, bro. And it's like, well, dude, they gave us an entire tier of cells in the local downtown jail. And I'm like, holy shit. We were there for 6 hours in disbelief, got home, checked the footage, and we're like, oh, no. We forgot to take the earrings out. So things like that, we never thought we'd be able to do. And the fact that we did it and we didn't have to cut anything unless we didn't think it was right for the story. That to me is the biggest accomplishment, because I know that does not happen in this business. I would send this script in for coverage. Coverage is when you go to a production company to try to get a film made and you have an intern. I've also interned. They read your script, they break it down, they review it. I would hear from page 1, your character is the most unlikable dude and this does not work. And to me, it was never, that's the word you always hear is likable. It's not about likability. It's about, is he interesting? Are you pulled in? The one thing I would say I'm so proud of for myself with my performance is there's a very clear turning point in the film. Everyone who has watched it is like, I am so with him until this point. And I'm like, okay, that's great. We wanted you to not be there at this point. But the fact is, I was told from the first 30 seconds, again, I'm naked, dropping a towel, and then things are happening. No one is going to watch this movie. So there's so many small things of accomplishment that during release of this film, I want to talk about. I don't want to act like I had $10 million to go make a film, which is what my partners want me to do. So we can make a lot of money and do things. I want to talk to filmmakers who are like me and show them you can do this. You can do it. You can do it the right way, and you don't have to compromise anything that you want to do if you get creative enough and you put the time in, which could take a long time.
What was the part of the post-production process that you think was like the most eye-opening experience of not realizing how difficult or how straining or how soul-crushing that was going to be, that you would want to kind of let upcoming filmmakers know to watch out for?
Man, I had, during the pandemic, I can't go into names or companies, I had a company developing a show on me, on my family. We had what's called a first look with them. So they have first look to everything I do. I sent the producer the film. I thought we were becoming good friends. He texts me back, glowing reviews, not kissing my ass, but like he's talking about things that I'm like, oh, he gets it. He gets what I'm influenced from. A month later, the George Floyd stuff happened, and I get told we need to have a call. And I'm on a call with them, my agent, my manager, and they're saying, are you racist? And I'm going, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, your film deals with themes of this and that. And I'm going, it's a movie. I'm a writer. A month ago, you loved it. This month, you're asking me this? I don't understand. Like, I felt really uncomfortable and really scared, because I'm like, if you know me, I'm the least confrontational person, and I love everybody. So why are we even having this conversation? And it turned to them saying, if you want to tell us this is artistic integrity, totally fine, we respect that. But we're never working with you, and we're cutting ties right now, and I think you're going to shoot yourself in the foot if you release this movie. So I had to go to my partners who I made this film with, the actors who are working actors who were friends of mine who came out and gave me 100%, and tell them, we have to sit on this right now because there's nothing I can. It was the pandemic. None of us knew what was going to happen. I had a company trying to develop a show on me and my family, and I'm like, I've already seen when I go with the unexpected, good things can happen. This movie has been done, waiting to come out almost 6 years now. So the fact that I had to go through the writing process, that was such a process, the production process, and now the distribution process, I really feel like I have so much I can tell to up-and-coming filmmakers that can help them avoid certain pitfalls and things to do. For example, we're all told go the festival route. Yes, the festival route is great. Do you have the budget for the festival route? Because let's be honest, Sundance is not what it used to be. You're not going there with a $20,000 independent film and getting huge distribution. It's not happening. That's not the world we live in. Today in indie is Matthew McConaughey taking $4 million instead of $20 million to play a role where he's trying to get an Oscar. Like, let's call it like it is. Independent filmmaking is not what we all love, because we all love that era of filmmaking. So with going through that, I think it's also eye-opening that to most people, I think they'd say, is this movie coming out on Netflix? Can't answer that right now, but most likely no. And you would think that you're the Netflix guy. Those doors would open. Everyone in LA has a script in their pocket. That's a cliche we all hear, right? Everyone's got the script. I can promise you no one has the movie. Does not happen. The most eye-opening thing is having the movie, and people still do not give a fuck. They still will not hit play. They still will not give you the time of day. So you can go through all of that, and still no one wants to take a chance on you. We love you as Joey, as reality TV, but not as an actor. And I'm going, wait, I'm not even saying you need to hire me. I'm not even saying you need to release my film. I'm just asking for an opportunity, because every opportunity you have given me, I have excelled at. And I've shown I'm a professional in every single way, because I don't care if it's reality or it's scripted. I pride myself on being a professional. I'm going to show up, give 110%. Every person on the crew is treated the exact same way. This is set etiquette 101 that most people in reality don't have, because they've never grown up around this. You go in with that, you will stand out. Now I have something and I'm asking you for your help. People don't want to help. So I think, I was telling Cody this earlier, something a lot of people do is they try to play that they're a star, because if I play that I'm a star, perception will become reality. That's never been me, man. I'm Joey. I'm just the same kid I've always been. I want to make movies. I want to act. I want to do what I love. I want to do reality TV. I want to host. I want to entertain all of you. But it's crazy when you try to do things the right way, it still will not open those doors for you. Even if you were to say in a conversation right now, you're going to go on a Netflix reality show. You're going to win that show. You're going to get Amy fucking Poehler telling you she sees what you can do. Wouldn't you think if you had your movie in the bag, it's going to be a matter of time before this gets released and you're on to the next phase of your career? Didn't happen. Didn't happen at all. It's the thing we hear in the industry of they want you for one thing, but not the other thing. And with that, I've had to spend the last 5 years really trying to maneuver around that to make sure this movie gets released. Because at a certain point, I was like, do I just drop it online? Like, do I just drop it? Because it's never been about money. It's about trying to say this is what we can do. Thankfully, that did not happen, and it's actually getting a release, but I'm not going to act like it's all smooth sailing. Everything was great. Yeah, we had so much fun. Like, no, production was miserable. We had nothing. Me and my partner Josh fought every single day because we had him DPing, gaffing, doing everything. I'm having my mom be craft service. We're putting up people at the house, and we're in over our heads saying if we can just get through this and get the movie in the bag, everything will change. And even when you go through all that, it's not going to change sometimes. It's been a road that's been very humbling, but I wouldn't trade it for anything, because I think the knowledge I can give back to people who want to do the same thing is really invaluable.
Something that speaks a lot about your story specifically with this film is perseverance and just never giving up and always going to the next thing. I mean, you have this movie, you just getting it done was kind of your goal. You got that. You hit it with the reality TV. I'm sure you probably could have just abandoned the movie altogether and rode the reality TV, made a really nice career. You might still have that ahead of you. And I know we've talked about you already have all these plans for the future. You're already looking ahead at the second film, the third film. Mm-hmm. And what about, like, the process that you've already kind of, even just in the 20 minutes we've been talking about, it sounds emotionally, physically exhausting. What about the process of this movie has just made you dig so deep and want to already look ahead at the next thing? Like, the movie's not even out, you're already looking beyond that. And if you can talk about any of it, what are some of your plans for the future?
Man, I think it goes back to everyone who's sitting here right now. I'm inclined to believe we're all dreamers, right? Yeah? Yeah? You have those memories of being in your room as a kid where you got that right piece of music on and all of those dreams are so fucking obtainable, and you know you can make this happen, at my lowest of lows, I'm like, I know I can do this. It, to me, is one of those things where you can struggle with not believing in yourself, having down times. It's something we all go through. I know this is what I'm meant to do. So it's been like, to me, I'm not a crazy religious person, even though I was raised religious. I just have always looked at it as, because I said earlier, I'm so blessed to have always known what I've wanted to do. In my head, I look at it like God said, I'm giving you the one thing that most people never know, which is your purpose, your plan, what you're here to do. The trade-off is you're going to have to work really hard to get that. And I'm like, okay, bet, let's go. I'm not afraid of working hard. I'm not afraid of getting my hands dirty. And in terms of the future looking forward, I want to do everything. I want to make horror films, which is my first passion. I want to make more serious drama. I want to give opportunities to the people who don't get them, because this game is not fair. It's not about who's the best. It's not about, I equate it to, we all love music. You can go out on a Friday, Saturday night and see someone playing guitar with a case open who could be headlining a stage somewhere. But for whatever reason, it didn't work out that way. I started my production company with my manager called Thunderheart Productions. We're gearing towards more films in the future, looking towards partnering up. And honestly, I want to take the Blumhouse model. I always loved Jason Blum. I interned at Blumhouse. That was one of the first big things in LA that was like, I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right track. And I just think that in the world today of streaming, I'm a physical media guy, by the way. I spend all my money on Blu-ray, DVD, posters. I was telling Cody earlier, if there's something that in my opinion has not been tackled yet with streaming, is that this should be the day and age of the 70s aesthetic film coming back. Why can't we take chances? What are the risks? You're not spending anything on marketing. You're spending only something on production. You should be able to take those risks and let a filmmaker do what they do. Look, if someone's coming to me saying, Joey, we're giving you $30 million to go make this film, and then we're going to spend another 30 to 40 in prints and advertisements to put it in 3,000 screens, and you have to make that to break even just to be hireable by the town, I don't want to do that. And I'm a kid. I want my thing to play in theaters, but I know how the business works, where it's a game. Okay, streaming, let's stream. Let's do it. Let's hire people who don't get hired. Let's give people opportunities. Let's go to local towns, to theaters. Let's see who has scripts in their pocket, who wants to work. We made this movie for a very cheap budget, which I will reveal. I just can't yet because of paperwork. We made this for next to nothing. We had people come out who were my friends that I met from over the years, who treated me as a professional. This is before I was on Netflix. This is before anything. They believed in me. That meant the absolute world to me, and I like to look at myself as the Adam Sandler type. I'm going to hire all of my friends forever. What do you want to do? What did you write? I think that the business is in a place where it needs to get shaken up, and I think it takes someone who's on the rise to do that, and I think if I keep playing my cards right, I will be able to do that, because it is a constant back and forth between my manager and I of how much of a rebel can I be. Because if I played the fame game, I could have grown far more than I am today by doing things that I'm not comfortable with. Putting things out there that I don't like in terms of my sex life, my gossip life, all of those things that I see all of my friends do. And I'm not outing anyone. I just want to say, I told Cody this earlier as well.
I'm not one of them, by the way.
Yeah, when you're watching all of these shows and you're seeing all of the press afterwards of people hooking up, and they're at Starbucks and a paparazzi comes up to them, do you really think they're just waiting at a random Starbucks for this person to roll up and they just happen to be there and be like, hey, Joey, let's talk about you dating so-and-so? It's all maneuvered. I just always looked at it as, when you're hearing me, when you're seeing me, I want to be talking to you about what I love, what I'm here to do. If there's anything else I go into, okay, that's up to me. It's not me putting that out there because I'm desperate to have you love me and follow me and tell me how good I am. Like, dude, there are so many people who are trying to chase a dream, and they don't have the parents that I had to say, we will move you across the country. We will pay your rent when you can't do it. When you're crying that you don't want to come home, but we don't know what's wrong, and I'm doing everything in my power and nothing is happening still. I've lived it. I've seen others go through it. I want to help that person, and I think that it's just very ironic that the door opened for me in the ways that it did. And because of being friends with Cody, I'm doing things now like getting ready to start my YouTube, start a podcast, which I always shied away against because I had companies coming to me going, we can make this much, and you talk about this show and that. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to fucking do that. I want to talk about movies. I want to literally geek out about the new Criterion release or the new Waxwork record release and talk to collectors and things that I'm into. So I think right now the future is in a place that I have never been more excited about, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen because I promise you the movie does not suck. And even if you think it sucks, I am so proud of my work in it. And you can tell me if you think I suck, but the unexpected virtue is people know me from reality television and they go in with that, oh no, it's going to be so, and then they're like, wait, he's not terrible. He's okay. He's good. And I'm praying that when this comes out, I would love positive reception from you, from the people, but honestly, at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about the industry. It's about if someone watches it and says, I'll take a chance on that kid. I like him. I want to give him an opportunity. If I didn't have that relationship with my friend Raphael, I didn't get cast on The Circle. They wanted me gone. That's another behind-the-scenes thing. They said he's too Italian, he's too Jersey, he's too Jersey Shore, he's too all. And my friend went to war for me and said he is a fucking star and he will give you 110% every single day. And he is still to this day one of the only people who has went to bat for me. When someone does that for you, it can change everything in your life. I want to do that for someone else now because I know we all can't do it on our own, man. We all got to work together, and when we do that, we can get somewhere. For real, get somewhere.
When I write my first horror movie, I'm calling Joey, and I expect to be one of those friends shepherded in.
Yeah.
So we only got about 5 more minutes, so this question's more so for me. I'm going to be selfish for a second. So first film, Young Lion in the West, coming out later this year. Please keep an eye out for it. I wish we could show you a trailer and stuff, but there's still some stuff that are kind of behind red tape. Your second film. Do you have an idea already in place for where you want to go? The first film is your version of Mean Streets. Is your second film trying to be something completely original, or is there another one of your favorites that you kind of want to pay homage to?
Honestly, I'm such a psychopath. I have my entire filmography mapped out of like everything I want to do. But yes, the next one, if I can get the budget, I was a boxer my entire life. I fought from the time I was 6 years old till I was almost 18, nationally ranked. And I hate boxing movies because they're terrible. They're by the numbers. We've seen it a million times, the inspirational Rocky story. And again, I want to tell the story that we haven't seen, where the guy is not champion of the world, because the truth of that life is you grow up in a gym. You have nothing but this place. You don't have a family. You don't have no one who believes in you. But the odds of you becoming a world champion, that doesn't happen. I still, to this day, I have friends who are in prison right now for attempted murder, who I grew up with, fighting with, who will write me letters and still tell me when they get out they're going to be a world champion. Do you know how sad that is? You're going to be
Creed 3.
A 40 or 50-year-old man getting out of prison, and you've only ever had that in your life from your childhood. So there's a script I have that is such a passion project. There's also a horror film that I have. I mean, I'm very adaptable as to what I want to do, but the one thing I am so excited to announce today is people always ask about distribution. Where is it coming? Where is it going? The last year, I'd be texting Cody and telling him who I'm meeting with and how that process is going. It's my first time being at this stage of the game. I can officially announce we have signed with Buffalo 8 Distribution, which is ungodly to me because look them up. They're Academy Award nominated. Like that, I thought they were messing with me when they said we had a meeting with them. I was like, what do you mean? Like Buffalo 8? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, there's no way that Buffalo 8 is interested. We sat down with them and they fucking got the movie. They just got it. And they're like, this is a great vehicle for you. And it says a lot. And it's going to piss people off. Good. And people are going to love it for being what it is. So I'm praying and hoping that we can work together during this release to make this the most successful release we can. Because again, at that time, regardless of what my partners tell me, I will tell you every dollar that was spent on this film, how we did it, every step of the way, how we've gotten where we have gotten, so I can send a message to the industry and to up-and-coming filmmakers. You do not need $1 million to go and make your movie. Study your craft, get good at what you do, get your people together, and go and do it. That's what it came down to for me. If I sat there and waited for Blumhouse to believe in me and give me an opportunity to make something, it would never exist. It was by saying, I'm going to put everything in my life on the line because I believe in myself that much that I can do it. And again, the film is very flawed. There's flaws all over it. I love that. You can see we had nothing, and it's a group of people coming together to make something that you don't see very often anymore. And I think moving forward, I would love to keep partnering with Buffalo 8. I've looked at all of the films they've released. They do great releases. They believe in their filmmakers, and they back their filmmakers. And I'm not the guy who's going, I want Final Cut. I just want the opportunity because I've shown I can do it. And once you show you can do it and you can make people money, they will let you keep doing it. So fingers crossed, on release. I will be hitting you all with a release date very, very, very soon. But this is the first time publicly I could say Buffalo 8, we're signed, it's coming later this year, and a date is to be determined.
It's awesome. Yeah, big round of applause for that. Every time I hear your story, I get like pumped. I want to go home and like make a movie now. So, all right, guys, that's going to be it for us. I appreciate you guys coming and hearing Joey's story. We're going to be right over here at these meet and greet tables for as long as you guys want to talk until they kick us out. We're also going to be here the entire weekend. So tomorrow we're going to be back over here tomorrow afternoon doing a hot take showdown with Sean Chandler and a few other people. Sunday we'll be back over here talking horror, like some of our things that we're excited for, some of the things that we're worried for in the genre.
Me and Cody talking shit. It's not all about me anymore. We got me out of the way. Now we can actually talk movies and nerd out. So come to these other panels like the hot takes. We were talking a little bit about it earlier. I am going to lay into you. This kid's hot takes.
Spicy up
He's
here.
got some hot takes.
Yes.
I do not agree with.
Yes, it's going to get crazy. So thank you guys again. Please, like I said, we'll be over here. I hope we see you the rest of the weekend. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for coming with me.
Hey, honestly, guys, thank you so much, man. I really didn't. This is my first time doing a panel talking about anything in my scripted world. And to be able to sit here and talk to you guys and say this has been so liberating, and the fact you guys have sat here and given enough of a shit. Honestly, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.